And welcome to 734 Games, and this is Game Time. And today we are playing a game that shares some DNA with Gears of War, and that game is Outriders. Now, Outriders was published by Square Enix and made by People Can Fly. And before we get started on the fun stuff, my nephew, he's getting cancer treatment. His Gofundme is in the description. Please check that out. And now let's get started with Outriders.
Code 1, Flores Command. You are cleared to begin descent to surface. Copy. Disengaging. Initiating auxiliary thrusters. Command, we are 20 seconds to atmosphere breach. Initiate burn. Rotate and brake. Primary ignition, set to 30%. Rotating. We are engine first. Altitude 20,000 feet and falling. Code 1, we are getting interference. Switch to high gain antenna. Command, confirm signal strength. You're looking great, Code 1. Go for landing. Engines off. Odd 1 has landed.
So here we are with Outriders. In Outriders, you are a guy who gets basically you get injured and you get put into a cryo chamber and you wake up, decades later. And you wake up in a world you don't recognize after you have gone through space. Basically, Earth was destroyed. And I mean, the story here is actually told very badly. It's a compelling story, though. I mean, it's actually the premise of the game is actually very compelling, and I like the game. I like the premise, but the storytelling is not the greatest here, and that's pretty much that's kind of a big glaring thing. Oh, and the cutscenes look terrible. But as far as the game itself is an online cooperative game. You can play this game by yourself, but it's still online. Now, I didn't have any problem getting on this game like I did with Gears of War 5 Hive Busters. That game was terrible. You can go back to that video if you want to see how that game performed. And both of these games are being played on the Xbox One X. I don't have a Series X, unfortunately. I'm not one of the fortunate people. But what I have to say about this game is in game, once you're in the game, this game looks great on the One X. I don't know about the original Xbox. I'm sure the Series X it looks great. They did a really good job here with the graphics. The engine, as far as the Unreal 4 engine, so the game runs like definitely runs great. I mean, it's a lot like Gears of War 5, but better looking. So it's basically a better looking version of Gears of War 5 in that vein. I mean, although I would say it has a little bit more in common with Destiny and maybe a little, I wouldn't say Borderlands, but a little bit with Borderlands. But basically what you have is a dungeon fighter. Well, not really dungeons because you basically, it's a siege game. It's a cooperative siege game where you are basically sieging forts and killing off the boss and moving on to the next thing and upgrading your character as you go along. So this game is multi-layered. It's an online cooperative RPG. Now, the one downside of this game being always online is that if the developers and the publishers stop making money for some reason, then the game dies, like Anthem, or like plenty of other games, like Firefall. This game reminds me of Firefall as well. So this game has elements of those games, but here I'd have to say that as far as the game itself, it works, and I think this game actually has a great future, and I can't wait to play more of this game. It's a lot of fun. I totally enjoyed it. Although I know other people, some of my friends who have the same system I have, are having technical issues that I'm not having. which is one thing about Xboxes. It seems like that seems to be a thing with the Xbox One. I don't know about the Series X. I couldn't tell you. I don't have one. I've had a couple of Xbox One X's, or I've had two. This is my second one. The one I had before had all kinds of technical problems. This one doesn't have any. I had no problem with this game itself. This game at all. Everything ran like it was supposed to. Cutscenes look terrible though. Cutscenes look absolutely terrible, and the writing is pretty crappy as far as the story. But the story itself is actually compelling and interesting. So I hope that that's something that can be fixed, because this is an online multiplayer cooperative games where you get to blow stuff up. Now, the only thing I said is the best way. Okay, well, I want to start off with by saying, or end by saying, the best way to get this game, at least in my opinion, is to buy this game or to get this game on Games Pass for the Xbox. Right now, it's not on PC for Games Pass, which is unfortunate. And obviously, if you get it on the PlayStation, you have to pay full price. Me, I don't like paying full price for always online games. So I think a subscription model is really good for a game like this. So that's one of the reasons I decided to play this game on the Xbox One X. I would play it on the Series X if I had it. And this game actually, but on the One X, it looks good. I hope you can see it. I hope I did a good job producing this video so you could see how good the graphics look in this game. I totally enjoyed it, and I think you should check this game out, especially if you have Games Pass on Xbox. Definitely check out Outriders. With that being said, that's pretty much it for this episode of Game Time, coming to you from 734 Games, where gaming is alive.
Do the right thing! Call it in! Postpone the fucking landing!
Institute!
Hey, you! Can you help me with the wounded? We have to get them to MedLab.
Over here!
Come on, move your asses!